I've been gaming since pretty much ever since I could pick up a controller. I went N64, then PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've never actually owned a PC. That is a very important part of this video. I do not own a PC. All that being said, I think the Steam Deck is probably my favorite piece of gaming hardware that I've ever played. And it's not close. It's not close at all. With that being said, would I recommend it in 2026? Probably not, but we're gonna go ahead and get into every single reason why. My name is Taika. I like talking about video games. I like playing video games, and if you like me talking about them, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button. Let's go ahead and get into the video. There's a few categories that I want to mention that I feel like are a very important part of this conversation as far as if you should even get a Steam Deck in 2026. If you've been living under a rock, they are actually sold out on the official Steam website. Editor Tyler here. So I went to the Steam website because I saw on Reddit that they actually were back, or at least the refurbished models, but I was going to check, make an update, and they're actually sold out again. Holy. All right, back to the video. My fault. But there's plenty of different ways. There's plenty of different ways you can get it though. So I've broken down this video in a few different categories. So that way, if you want to jump around to each individual one, you can. The first thing I want to talk about is the state of handheld gaming. We're in this interesting time where I feel like handheld gaming is becoming more popular. There's even rumors of the PlayStation 6 being like some type of handheld hybrid console. So there's a situation in which Unreal Engine 5 basically anything that's Unreal Engine 5 basically cannot run in the Steam Deck. Shouts out to Arc Raiders, y'all optimize the shit out of that. And that takes, like, by default, a good chunk of newer games just immediately off the playability list for the Steam Deck. I know there's cloud streaming, and yes, there are ways around that, but I'm just gonna speak from my perspective. I'm one of those people who the first thing that they do when they go into a game, I turn the dead zone down. If I do this, I want my character to move. If I do the lightest movement, I want my character to move. So with all that being said, my tolerance for latency is very, very, very low. So I've never personally been a fan of the cloud streaming thing. And obviously, I said earlier, I don't have a powerful PC, so I don't have a way to stream like a connect way to my Steam Deck to my PC. There are all alternatives, like you can connect your PS5 to the Steam Deck, which is pretty cool. But again, I am the person who just kind of likes the one-to-one experience. Even for frame rates, I'll literally tank my resolution if I can get a high frame rate. That's just me. I like the smoothest experience possible as far as gameplay goes. So with all that being said, the Steam Deck is pretty underpowered when it comes to today's standards. There are ways around this. I just don't really like the whole streaming thing personally. And a lot of people will make the argument because the Steam Deck is pretty much dead since it can't run any new games, which is false. It can run them, just not at the best performance. Definitely not at 60 frames. If you are satisfied with 30 frames, it could definitely do that sometimes. But with all that being said, there's a huge thing that people do not consider whenever they talk like that, and that's backlog. The Steam Deck is a backlog monster destroyer. My favorite ways to experience older games that I have not yet to play, and I'm talking about late 2000s, you got your PS3, Xbox games, stuff like that, even some like light PS4 games. One of my favorite ways to play them is on the handheld and on the Steam Deck. And of course, we can't bring up backlog without bringing up emulation. And the Steam Deck excels at emulation. Pretty much anything from the beginning console, I want to say up to light PS3 games, it can knocks out the park easily. But also back to the power conversation, even though the Steam Deck is amazing at emulation and emulating, it's not the best at emulating. It still struggles with those 360 and PS3 titles. But as far as indie games and emulation goes, the Steam Deck knocks it out the park. It's not close. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Let's talk about the ease of use. SteamOS, at least for me personally, who was a console gamer who never owned a PC, is by far the best way to experience handheld gaming. Because you have that rest feature, you can go ahead and play your games, put the console in sleep, go ahead, go about your day, and then pick it back up, and you should be good. And the Steam Deck has pretty good battery life too, so 9 times out of 10, if you're on a decent charge and you stop playing your game, you pick it back up, you're chilling. You can get right back into it. Now, I do want to say if you are a bit of a tinkerer, you can put SteamOS on other handhelds, but that does take a bit of work, and if you're somebody like me who's not fully confident in that, it's up to you. I like SteamOS so much that I went out of my way to buy a ROG Ally X, not the Xbox version, with SteamOS pre-installed. I've had that for about a year now, and I have not once ever switched to the Windows side. But that does bring me to another point. SteamOS can't play games like Call of Duty because I'm pretty sure of the anti-cheat and a few other several multiplayer games like Destiny 2 as well. And so from my limited research, if you did want to buy a Steam Deck today in 2026, they seem to be selling anywhere from about $400 to around $600, $700. Okay, so editing Tyler here. I just went back to check the prices again since, you know, we had the mishap earlier. So they definitely went up past 400 for sure. Damn. They're a little bit higher than that. They're definitely cheaper on Mercari than eBay. That's where I would get it from. Here are the eBay prices. Again, this is as of March 20th. But yeah, let's get back to the video. That's tough. Which isn't bad, but I would say if you can't get one for around $450 and I didn't have a handheld console, I would probably get a Legion Go S. And honestly, if money's not an issue for you, I would wait till the Legion Go 2 SteamOS version comes out in June. Which brings me to another point, comfort. Now, I am someone who is a heavy gamer and I edit videos. I do not have the most healthiest of hands. Actually, I'm pretty sure I have some type of carpal tunnel arthritis. I cannot stress how important it is for the Steam Deck to be so comfortable for me to actually hold so I can play it as it's meant to play in handheld. I cannot do that with the ROG Ally. Before I got these grips, that's for another video though. And of course that also comes with the trackpads. Now I'm not gonna lie, at first I didn't care about the trackpads at all, but it is so infuriating. It's like a thing that you don't realize you need until you need to use it. So whenever you wanna go into the desktop mode and tinker a little bit, or God forbid, there's a game that for some odd reason doesn't have controller support yet, the trackpads will save your life every time. There is no situation in where I switch to the desktop version on my ROG Ally X that is running SteamOS, well, but you know what I mean? And then I have to pull out my mouse and I have to pull out my keyboard because it's not away, and it's a whole thing. I hate it. But yes, as silly as that sound, the trackpads are a huge selling point for the Steam Deck. With all that being said, I just want to ramble a little bit with some closing thoughts. Would I buy a Steam Deck in 2026 if I had no other handheld? Yes, but would it be my first choice? I wouldn't even consider the Steam Deck necessarily weak. I just want to say it's starting to get outshadowed by the times. And Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 is doing my boy in, I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, I would probably shoot for the Legion Go S if I had to pick one. I actually got the ROG Ally X. I got it like a week before the Legion Go S was announced. I knew it was coming, I just didn't have the patience. I also got it for a killer deal and SteamOS was already installed on it, so I was just like... But yeah, if you can find one for about $400, I would say go ahead and go for it. Again, if you don't mind tinkering and you have decent internet, you can definitely stream all the latest games to the Steam Deck. I'm just really anal about latency. And there's no denying that it's amazing for emulation. So yeah, if there's somebody who likes retro games or indies, get the Steam Deck. Don't disregard everything I said. Get the Steam Deck. It is by far the best place to play indies. In my closing final thoughts, if the Steam Deck even had a Z1 Extreme processor, I would say screw everything that I just said. Steam Deck wins above all else, preferably the Z2. But we know at this point that Valve is waiting for a more powerful chip, which I'm not mad at. Take your time, because honestly, this thing, in my opinion, is dang near perfect. It just needs a stronger chip. But let me know if you guys are interested in buying a Steam Deck in 2026. Let me know what games you guys are playing, what handhelds you're interested in. Do you recommend a Steam Deck in 2026? Let me know your biggest reasons why or why not. And if not, let me know what your favorite handheld console is. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a long time. I'm a huge fan of handhelds. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all in the next video. It's your boy Taika. Peace.